If you teach online, I'm sure you strive to create a positive and engaging learning environment for your students. And for the most part, your students are probably respectful, conscientious, and studious. But some way, somehow, now and again, probably every semester or session, no matter how thorough, kind, and encouraging you are, you come across that handful of students who just will not do right to save their lives. They are the students who exhibit toxic behavior that infringes on the quality of the teaching and learning experience. In this video, I'm going to cover what toxic behavior is, how it may play out in the online learning environment, as well as some specific strategies you can employ before, during, and after you have encountered such students. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Reflecting to Power Through Higher Education, where I, Dr. Kellie Alston, will be sharing practical tips on how to deal with college students who exhibit toxic behavior online. The purpose of this video is to equip you so that you may prepare and protect yourself and not allow toxic students to hinder your stride or satisfaction with teaching online. So why should you listen to me? Well, I embarked on my full-time distance ed lecturer career way back in 2004, designing and facilitating 9 online courses at an HBCU, and I've taught thousands of students online at this point. Unfortunately, I have noticed that toxic behavior has become more and more prevalent over the past decade. So it is high time that you and I explore this issue. But before we delve into what toxic behavior is, let's examine what the word toxic means. Number 1, containing or being poisonous material, especially when capable of causing death or serious debilitation. 2, exhibiting symptoms of infection or toxicosis. 3, extremely harsh, malicious, or harmful. And 4, relating to or being an asset that has lost so much value that it cannot be sold on the market. As you can see, there was nothing good about the word toxic. Now that we've reviewed those definitions, I want you to do something for me. Close your eyes. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word toxic? Is it a substance, an environment, a person, a group of people? Feel free to share your response in the comments. I think we can all relate to having been exposed to some form of toxicity at some point in our lives. So let's get clear on what toxic behavior is. According to WebMD, toxic behavior refers to a person's actions that cause harm to others, either physically or mentally. In an article entitled Signs of a Toxic Person, Dr. Jennifer Casarella shares that toxic people demonstrate inconsistency in their behavior. They are erratic and do not follow through on their promises. You never know what you're going to get from them. They tend to thrive on drama, so they inflame emotions and create conflict. They do whatever it takes to get what they want, and that includes lying, bending the truth, leaving out information, and even hurting other people if necessary. They also have a heightened sense of self interest and may also need to showcase their greatness for affirmation. Dr. Stephanie Sarkis of Psychology Today expounds on this topic even more. She says toxic people can be self centered, manipulative, abusive, and lacking in empathy. Toxic people drain others' energy by constantly demanding attention, sympathy, or validation. And finally, toxic people tend to disrespect emotional and physical boundaries. Now, it is important to note that toxicity in people is not considered a mental disorder, but there could be underlying mental problems that cause someone to act in toxic ways, including a personality disorder. In online courses, students' toxic behavior disrupts the learning environment, hinders their own progress, or negatively impacts others. It can take various forms, including but not limited to disrespectful or abusive language towards instructors or peers, persistent disruption in discussions or virtual classrooms, harassment, bullying, or cyberbullying, consistent tardiness or absenteeism without valid reasons, cheating or engaging in academic dishonesty, spreading false information or rumors that create a hostile environment, excessive negativity or trolling aimed at undermining the course or its participants. By the way, trolling is a term that has evolved over time and has different meanings depending on the context. In general, trolling refers to the act of posting inflammatory, irrelevant, or offensive comments online with the intention of provoking an emotional response from others. The term can also be used to describe the act of deliberately disrupting online communities by posting disruptive content. Now, I have shared 7 forms of toxic behavior online. You may be able to think of others. If so, please share them in the comments. Take a few moments to think about your experience with college students online. Jot down any behaviors or circumstances that could be described as toxic. If you have never taught online, but you have taught in person, apply it to the traditional face to face environment for now. I do not want to leave you out. Here are a few questions for 1 minute of reflection. If you feel comfortable sharing, please do. You may have found that dealing with toxic people can leave you exhausted, stressed, and emotionally drained. You may have also found yourself questioning your sanity, second guessing yourself, and or experiencing anxiety. There is an air of confusion surrounding toxic people, and you just do not feel good when you are in their presence. Remember the definition that mentioned poisonous material? Yeah, that part. Last, but certainly not least, you may have experienced toxic people who recruit others to war against you to prove that you are the problem and that their issues with you are justified. So, how do you handle toxicity online? Grab a sheet of paper and divide it into 3 columns. It is time for the practical tips that are applicable before, during, and after toxic encounters. So, label each column as such. While you are creating that graphic organizer, I must inform you that I created a guided journal for higher educators called The Professor's Week in Review, a journal for weekly reflections on the higher ed experience. This journal allows you to reflect deeply on various aspects of your journey through academia for 16 weeks. It includes 9 prompts that guide you each week, as well as 9 pages of resources and checklists pertaining to faculty and committee meetings, research interests, self care, and even a special place for describing your overall semester experience as well as your hopes for the upcoming semester. Dealing with students who exhibit toxic behavior online emerged from my journaling for 16 weeks during the spring 2023 semester. So I had to share it with you. If you have not ordered your copy of the Wire Journal, you may do so at bit.ly, the Wire Journal, or bit.ly, the Fillable Wire. You may also click the links in the description for easy access. Group discounts apply to those who order 10, 20, or more copies from my publisher, Vervante. So go in with a group of your colleagues and make it a mindful semester. Also, if you are enjoying this content so far, please tap the thumbs up button and share it with a few colleagues who may benefit from joining us. If you are not a member of the HEO, Higher Educators Online family, click that subscribe button and come on in. Here is a virtual hug just for you. Now, let's talk about what you can do before you encounter toxic behavior online, because being proactive is always a plus. I have 6 tips to share. Number 1, monitor your wellness. Make sure you are implementing strategies that promote healthy functioning and enhance well being. You must take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. Your well being has a direct impact on how you process and handle situations and how you honor yourself. Your dominant thoughts must be positive about your students and about yourself. Remember, your vibe can be detected through the screen, whether your course is synchronous or asynchronous. So, expect and look for positive interactions and experiences so that your dedication, encouragement, support, and expertise come across in a way that inspires and engages students. Whether you are new to teaching online or a veteran, deliver a strong, confident presence and believe in yourself. Number 2, be very familiar with the Student Code of Conduct and the Academic Integrity Policy. A college student code of conduct is a collection of norms and standards that influence students' behavior on campus. The code of conduct varies in every institution, But in general, students must attend classes on a regular basis, dress neatly and decently, behave with dignity and kindness, and respect the college property and community. The code of conduct contributes to the preservation of a safe and conducive learning environment for everybody. Academic integrity is a fundamental principle that ensures the quality of education and research in colleges and universities. It refers to the ethical standards that students, faculty, and staff must uphold in their academic work. Academic dishonesty, such as cheating, plagiarism, or fabrication of data, is prohibited in colleges and universities. Number 3, make the Student Code of Conduct and Academic Integrity policies available on your course shell and syllabus and review them in video form. Creating a video in which you are reading and explaining the policies sets the tone for your course and how serious you are about enforcing the policies. Let students know the specific procedures they should follow regarding issues and concerns while taking your course. Include this information explicitly in your syllabus, but make sure it has a separate place on your course shell with a video. Doing so ensures that the students are crystal clear on how such matters should be handled, and you can refer to the guiding documents when necessary. You may also want to hold a virtual open house where you review the syllabus and policies live and offer a Q&A session. The idea is to do everything that you can to make the policies and procedures known and the expectations clear. Number 4, hold students accountable for knowing the university's policies and procedures, as well as those you have established for your course. Accountability is key when information is shared. So, providing a course orientation that includes acknowledgement of receipt and understanding is critical. You may use a quiz, a post on the discussion board, a fillable PDF, a blog post, a journal entry, a Google Doc, anything that requires the student to sign off on understanding the expectations of the course. Never assume that students know how to handle issues and concerns appropriately. For example, it is important to specify what students are to do when they have a concern or how the concern will be handled. You see, today's students like to email the chair of the department or the dean without having followed proper protocol, which includes contacting you or meeting with you to resolve any issues. So it is wise to educate them and then ensure that they are aware using one of the methods that I mentioned or any others that you may think of. Number 5, design a high quality, engaging, relevant, and collaborative online course. Do what is necessary to ensure that your course exudes excellence. If your course looks like you threw it together in 5 minutes, or you do not care about what you are teaching, then you're going to have some problems. It's inevitable. It is then assumed that you do not care about whom you are teaching. As a result, it is critical that you become skilled in course design or that you utilize the help of colleagues or instructional designers. This concept alone could be a series of videos, but for now, just remember that the quality of your course has a significant impact on how students see you and how they perceive their learning experience will be. In fact, sadly, having an extremely well designed course can also trigger those who thrive on toxicity because they realize that they actually have to take ownership of their learning. Isn't that interesting? Number 6, Have a clear understanding of how administrators in your department and specific college within your university view students who violate the code of conduct, academic integrity, and course policies. In other words, know the stance of your chair, your dean, and your assistant dean. Do you remember the saying, the customer is always right? Well, there are some administrators who stand behind the students regardless of the type of behavior they exhibit and do not support faculty as they should. It is important that you know their method of operation in advance so that you are not caught off guard. In contrast, there are administrators who partner with faculty and students to justly address issues and concerns, and thereby offer a more supportive and nurturing environment. You need to know this as well so that you feel more comfortable reporting and discussing situations with them. You may find out this information from colleagues, through faculty meetings where they express their viewpoints directly, or you may want to schedule a group or one on one meeting with them. Let me give you about 15 seconds to review these tips that will help you prepare for toxic encounters. Be sure to add them to the before column you created. Now, let's explore what you can do during toxic encounters online by looking at a case vignette. I want to make this information as relatable as possible. I will share this vignette and then ask you to identify the apparent characteristics that deem this as an example of toxic behavior. Then I will suggest some ways to handle them. Are you ready? Here we go. Melissa is a senior in your online course. She is single with no children and teaches in a pre K classroom full time while pursuing a bachelor's degree online. Melissa is 35 and she also sings in a group that rehearses each week for an extracurricular activity. During week 2 of the course, she signs up for a discovery session that is designed to help you get to know each other and address any questions or concerns. As the session ensues, Melissa throws you a blend of compliments and undercover jabs. She shares that she does not know how she will get through all the assigned reading and complete the detailed assignments while praising you for being so organized and having such a well laid out course. She lets you know that she does not see how she will make it through your course because you require so much, but she will try. You offer her some tips and strategies that might enhance her success. Finally, she asks you to walk her through the course, which you do happily, even though there is a course walkthrough video on the course shell. During group activities or whole group sessions, she is often unprepared, always stating that she did not get a chance to complete this or that or read this or that. And when other students present or share anything, her feedback is always a little praise sprinkled with a whole lot of critique, even though you have asked the students to only share encouraging words and what they enjoyed about the presentations. It is apparent that her classmates are annoyed by the tone of their voices when they respond, "Thank you, Melissa." Other things to note about Melissa include she emails you once a week stating that she's confused about an assignment or a weekly task that has been explained via video, PDF, live sessions, and announcements. Almost nothing in the course seems to be clear to her. When you respond to her email, she hardly ever responds back. You bring this to her attention, and she says that if you do not answer her question to her satisfaction, she sees no need to respond. She constantly asks for extensions on assignments and even told you that she thought one assignment was a substitute for another, so she did the wrong one. She informs you that she will not be completing the weekly journal assignment because she does not have time for that based on her busy schedule. Seemingly, she purposely earns a 0 out of 10 points on that assignment each week and does not read or comment on her classmates' journals. She constantly complains about the course and you via GroupMe. Now for the icing on the cake. You divide the class into small groups. The groups create a trivia game for review of a chapter's content. Marva is given the questions that she should cover in her game, and of course, is charged with finding the correct answers. When the group meets during class to play the game, she posts the questions to the trivia game, but does not let the group know if their answers are correct. You enter the session just as a classmate is asking her what the right answer is. She says, "You want me to give you the answer?" There's nothing but silence. You interject by explaining that each presenter's job was to find the answers for their portion of the game and to confirm the correct answer as part of the review. She states that she did not have time to do that. She tells you that you can go to another group and look at a student who has done it correctly and then takes down her presentation. Whew, that vignette was filled with twists and turns, wasn't it? Would you say that Melissa exhibits toxic behavior? Before you answer that, let's review what we learned about toxic behavior from doctors Casarella and Sarkis. Which behaviors stick out to you? I chose manipulative, self centered, attention seeking, disrespectful of boundaries, and lying, or should I say, bending the truth. But let's take it a step further. Which of these online toxic behaviors are evident? I chose 1, 2, and 7. What about you? As always, I would love to hear from you in the comments. So, here are my practical tips for how to handle toxic behaviors during these types of encounters. Number 1, never take these issues personally. I know this one is hard, but it is a must. Once the evidence piles up and you know what you're dealing with, realize that it is not about you at all. This behavior is a part of this person's personality, and you just happen to be the target right now. If it were not you, it would be someone else at some point in time. Thinking this way will help you be more level headed and not react in an unprofessional manner. Number 2, promptly address issues. If a student displays toxic behavior, offer constructive feedback on their actions and suggest alternative approaches. Do your best to help them understand the impact of their behavior on themselves and others. You can do this in writing via email or even ask to have a video or telephone conference with the student. Always send an email after a video or telephone conference, recapping what was discussed and specifying any resolutions or plans of action. Number 3, use technology to your advantage. Leverage the features of your online learning platform to manage discussions, moderate content, and monitor student engagement. Use analytics to identify patterns of toxic behavior. And record, record, record. All synchronous sessions should be recorded. If you use telephone conferencing software, record. Let your students know that all sessions are being recorded. Exercise your right to remove students who are violating the student code of conduct from the chat room. Document everything via email, your Wired journal and planner, and within the notes section of the LMS. For example, take the vignette about Melissa, for example. I said, for example, twice there. Under the class participation column in the grade book under her name, you could include the transcript and or recording of the session, as well as your thoughts about it while your mind is fresh. Having that data handy may just benefit you in the future. Number 4, involve support systems. If toxic behavior persists and you have done all that you can do to handle it in a professional manner, involve the administration or the appropriate authorities within your institution. In some cases, you may not feel comfortable having a video or telephone conference with a student alone. If so, ask your chair to attend. Seek guidance and support in handling the situation effectively, and make sure you are always following the university's policies as well as the laws of the land. Take about 15 seconds to review these tips that will help you during toxic encounters. Be sure to add them to the during column you created. Well, we have made it to the final segment. The question is, what do you do after you have experienced a toxic encounter? Number 1, analyze the experience. If you journaled about the experience or entered the events in your planner as they occurred, you can look back over it play by play and sit with it. But be careful not to ruminate. Ask yourself some critical questions. How well did I handle the situation? What bothered me the most about the situation? If this were to happen again, what would I do differently, if anything? How do I feel about how the situation was handled by other parties if things escalated to that level? Number 2, learn from the experience. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? It's just that simple. And allow yourself to respond with no judgment towards yourself or anyone else. As hard as it is to believe, you may even find some good that came from the experience. See every experience as an opportunity to grow wiser, stronger, and better. Number 3, discuss it on a larger scale. Sometimes you come across toxic behaviors that warrant a bigger discussion. If you believe that the issue needs to be addressed on a larger scale, discuss it with colleagues in your department, your dean, the vice chancellor, or even the provost who handles such affairs. And number 4, Let it go. Let it go. Do not let a toxic encounter steal your joy. Release it and channel your thoughts towards the students who inspire you to continue doing what you do. Move with integrity like you always do, and know that there are many students who are immensely blessed by you, whether they tell you or not. Do not let these toxic experiences put a damper on the session you're teaching or the semester. Creating this video was challenging because there is so much that I wanted to share on this topic. I really wanted to go through an example of each of the toxic behaviors, but that would take an entire series. Nevertheless, thank you for sharing your precious time with me. I hope that you now have a better idea about how to deal with toxic behavior online. Before you go, please show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And if you have not ordered your Wire Journal, remember to click the links in the description to access them today. When you like, comment, share, subscribe, it lets YouTube know that you are enjoying this content and gives the algorithm a nudge to recommend it to others. Until next time, make it a mindful semester. Bye-bye.